LG Spectrum 2.
All right, let me get
and this is actually on Verizon. I'd say that this phone is, aside from the phone that you reviewed, Shannon, this is more targeting the mid-range. It's $99 with a 2-year contract on Verizon.
The Optimus G was for the higher end.
Yeah, how much was that? A couple $100 for?
Yeah, it's $200 on contract.
And the quad-core processor kind of boosts it into that zone. Nowadays, you're seeing the quad-core being kind of the upper kind of tier of Android phones. This is still a dual core, but it's a respectable 1.5 gigahertz dual core Snapdragon S4.
I think that's fast enough for most people.
Totally. I mean, honestly, that's one of the things that I really was impressed with on this phone. Anytime that the word mid-range phone comes into the conversation, you sort of lower your expectations. And just the reality is some people, that's fine. That's good enough. Or $100 is all they have to spend on a device. And honestly, this device performs really well for $100. It's right up at the top as far as in the Verizon catalog of devices anyways.
And it's a gig of RAM, which is a lot of RAM.
1 gig of RAM. That's plenty. It's efficient. I really found that just moving around the interface.
It does feel snappy. Look at that.
Yeah, it's definitely snappy and kind of jumped around. I played games on here. I played Dead Trigger. It seems to be my go-to game for testing how a game performs because you really see when it starts to stutter if it's going to. And it really didn't slow down on this device at all. I was pretty happy with it. It has the 4.7-inch HD IPS display, I think the same display that you have in the device that you reviewed, Shannon. 16 gigs of internal storage with a micro SD card slot. So I'll pop off the back here.
So removable battery too, which I think is so important.
Yeah, removable battery.
I like to buy 2 batteries whenever I get a phone.
Oh, totally. I mean, having that option just makes a world of difference. 2150 milliamp hour removable battery. I found it to be perfectly sufficient for my use. I know some other reviews have said that, it didn't quite perform as long as they had hoped, but it got me through the days. And, anytime I'm reviewing a device, I have it syncing, Google Plus, Facebook, Twitter on regular intervals as well. I'm using it throughout the day as I would a normal phone. So I was pretty happy with it. 8 megapixel rear-facing camera right up there at the top. And that is also capable of 1080p video.
It's so interesting that they put 13 megapixels into the LG Optimus G. And the mid-range... No, this is the mid-range.
This is more the mid-range.
That's why. Okay, so it's a lower megapixels, but 8 is still... How did you like the camera?
8, as they say, 8 is enough.
Great. 8 is enough.
Yeah, no, 8 is okay. I would say overall, the camera didn't totally disappoint me, but it was a little finicky. Like some of the stuff you were saying about your device, which I actually have right here so you can see side by side. Some of the stuff you were saying as far as the camera performance, I would kind of agree. There were times where it would kind of get a little washed out, a little overblown, blurry with motion. Bad light performance was a little grainy, but I just feel like you see that kind of grain and bad light most of the time with most phones out there.
I'm wondering if it's a sensor or if it's LG's camera software.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of get the feeling that it's the sensor, but I mean they're sporting different sensors if one is capable of more than the other.
Both are having problems apparently.
Yeah. As far, what else is it? NFC is included here. Actually, it does have these tags with it, and these are 2 NFC tags that it comes with. One that pops it right into car mode, so I'll go ahead and hold it.
So you'd put that on your dashboard.
Oh, you know what? It needs the back because the antenna is built into the back there.
Ah, interesting.
So let me put that on. And then, yeah, so if you have a all-purpose, let's say, car mount for your device, you just tape this on the back of it. And then when you put your phone in, it automatically launches you right into navigation.
That's great.
So that's pretty sweet. Yeah. And then if I hit it again, it should deactivate it.
I like that.
Yeah, it prompts me to deactivate it. There's another one for office mode, which puts it into vibrate as well as turns Bluetooth on. So you could have that at your office and hop there easily.
This is Verizon's LTE. Verizon's LTE, in my experience, has been very good.
Oh, it's
great.
great.
Getting good results?
Super solid. Yeah, and very fast transfer speeds. And again, I didn't take it off of 4G, and I hardly had it on Wi-Fi even because I was out all like the last 5 days of last week with the holiday traveling through San Francisco and back. So it was hardly on wireless, always on 4G, and fast speeds. Battery lasted. I was very, very happy with that.
Now, don't tell me it's ice cream sandwich.
It is. It's 4.0.4 ice cream sandwich. The difference here from what you were saying, though, is that they haven't really announced any sort of Jelly Bean upgrade. It's nearly impossible for me to believe that they won't at some point, but who knows when that's going to be. You're just kind of playing the waiting game.
You're the host of All About Android. What is your take on this? Should somebody Is Jelly Bean that much better than Ice Cream Sandwich?
Jelly Bean, when Jelly Bean came out, and after the first few weeks of playing with it, I think I even made the comment on All About Android, and I don't know if many people agreed with me, but I almost thought it was more important in some degrees to the progression of Android than even Ice Cream Sandwich.
I agree 100%.
Ice Cream Sandwich did a lot to the visual delivery and kind of the overall look and feel of the platform and kind of maturing it a little bit. Jelly Bean takes all of those things that really need refining, like lag and just it irons them out to the point that any person that picks it up might ding a phone based on some of the imperfections of Ice Cream Sandwich, and they aren't going to find that in Jelly Bean.
I agree with you.
And so once Jelly Bean hits this device, it's gonna make it even better. I think that's the same with any Android device.
Let's get pros and cons.
Well, pros, definitely the display. That's, I mean, hands down, that's the killer feature of this device. I mean, when you're talking mid-range phone, this is 1280 by 720, super bright, excellent display. I was really happy with it. In fact, I have it a little too bright for the video. Sorry about that, guys. Fluid and responsive, definitely. The S4 1.5 gigahertz dual core is perfectly capable, especially for a $100 phone. And it actually has wireless charging. I didn't mention that.
Oh,
so
that's
you can actually get a wireless charging mat and charge it
I like
inductively.
that feature.
So that's pretty cool. The cons, I'd say the design, I like some parts of it, but as you can see when you compare it side by side, it's square versus the rounded edges. And strangely, that makes all the difference in the world. It actually makes the device feel bigger. If I put it up next to my Galaxy Nexus that feels smaller, they're the same. It's just that rounded edge on the Galaxy Nexus really makes a big difference as far as how you perceive it in size. And also the power location up here was really kind of fiddly. And then the camera, I'd say there were issues with the camera as well. But overall, great choice for $100 of Verizon. When you aren't in the thick of the holiday buying season, because Verizon's has a lot of sales, so you might be able to get an even better phone than this for close to the same price. But afterwards, definitely a buy.
A buy it from Jason for the LG Spectrum 2.
That's right.
Wow. I think we've seen a lot of phones today.